Esta conferencia comenzará a grabarse.
Okay. Today I'm working from one hotel in Madrid, so I hope the connection doesn't create problems. If so, I hope also that Nina or others could go on with the session, but I am confident that we don't suffer any communication loss. Welcome to today's morning session of the European Alliance Against Coronavirus. As you know, this is an open forum where we collaborate with the European Cluster Alliance, collaborate with the DG GROW, European Commission, and many other volunteer actors. Okay, we have been focusing our morning session this month of September on the European recovery plans and how clusters can play an important role on their definition and hopefully development. Okay, we have been reviewing the different industrial ecosystems. Okay, analyzing what were the main needs, urgent, short and long-term needs. Okay, and how cluster can help to solve them. And we have also had some sessions dedicated to examples and to know what every member state is working on those recovery plans. What are their priorities, and if possible also how can we contribute to solve them. Okay, today the session is dedicated to first Lithuania, and we have to discuss that. We come with the Vice Minister Ekaterina Rojaka from the Ministry of Economy and Innovation. And after that case, we will receive Jakub Hajek from Czech Investment to know about his country and how cluster can collaborate on that, on it. So that's the setting for today. You know, usually we hear the two speakers and later open the dialogue, but for time limitations, we will change the scheme for today. And we will have first the Lithuanian intervention until 9 o'clock. So we will hear Katerina and open the dialogue with her after her speech, and at 9 o'clock we will change to the Czech Republic case. So welcome everybody. I will say, Yedrius, are you there?
Hello, I'm here.
Hello, thank you, Yedrius, for contributing to the organization of this session. Could you introduce Ekaterina?
I need to check is she here. I need to make a call to check the citation. 1 minute.
Okay. Just while we wait for Ekaterina, just to remember you, we are recording those sessions, and you have then on the ECCP web page dedicated to the European Alliance Against Coronavirus, the full list of the previous sessions are there, also the video, and if we have presentation, the documents with the presentation. You can go there and review, for example, the previous session on these national recovery plans that was dedicated to France. We have received also the experiences from Belgium, Poland, Spain, and I forget some other that I don't remember now. Okay, sorry, but you have different experiences, and we expect also to continue with the series during the next weeks. I see that Nina is sharing the link now to you. Okay.
Yeah, I'm waiting our vice ministry.
Okay, could you introduce us, Jedrius, on your country and how it's approaching from your perspective the designing of the recovery plans?
Yeah, we're working with our ministry, and we want to be a part of in our national recovery plan, and this we will be involved in our plan for next year to attend in export activities and to help our companies to recover our export. And next our priority is to attend in our next plan for new generation. Next plan for next generation plan, and also now we are preparing for our next period for till 2027. Yeah, I can see our vice minister, Ekaterina.
Hi, I'm sorry, I had technical problems with the connections. Now I'm fine. Thank you very much for waiting.
Yeah,
you are very welcome. Thank you for joining us. So yes, please, Ekaterina, as you know, we are joining here not only clusters across Europe, but also other actors from both the social and industrial side. And we are very interested on knowing how are you preparing your national recovery plans, and if you have or if you see a role for clusters, where and how can we help you to achieve your goals. So welcome, and the floor is yours. Would you like
Thank you very much.
Do you have some presentation or just?
Yeah, I would like to share my screen now.
Okay, I will give you now the presentation rights.
Okay.
We can see now, yes. Not in full screen yet, yes.
Now it's fine?
Go on, please.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Okay, just a moment. I will minimize all the unnecessary.
We are only seeing the presentation at this moment. We don't see anything else.
Okay, so indeed, the role of clusters in upcoming couple of years would be crucial for overall collaboration between the businesses, between the businesses and within the member states. So we indeed put a lot of efforts on the clusters to be this linkage of knowledge, the bridge of knowledge and of expertise in global or European value chains. So I'm talking about the national plans. The government in June has agreed on a specific DNA plan. It's the plan that is orientated on restructuring and transformation of the economy towards the upper level. And we also see some measures that are connected to clusters here. Okay, I mean, how do I? I actually cannot switch the slides now.
Perhaps you can press escape. Okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
Now it's working. Thank you.
Good. So, of course, COVID has transformed lives of many within the business and also the public sector, and it is very important that after the pandemic, the businesses would be stronger, even stronger than before. That's why the DNA plan is oriented on investments that were planned already, but some kind of attention has been moved towards the other areas, and also additional investment. And as you can see, overall we have 1.8 billion of additional investments going to human capital, digital economy and business, innovation and research, economic infrastructure, climate change. Of course, the Green Deal is a break dealer here, and also some kind of reserves. So we see that overall increase proportionally is much higher to innovation and research and also human capital, as we believe that competences and innovative experiences and expertise is the driving force for the upcoming years. So what are objectives of the structural fund? Because together with the DNA, we also have the new programming period. And first of all, it's a smarter Europe that is promoting innovative and smart economic transformation, a greener Europe, and so it is the greener member states, connected Europe, also more social Europe, and of course, it's the place that is fostering social, economic, and environmental sustainability all together. So we have both horizontal trends and very specific channels through which we need to go. So, but definitely the after the pandemic and over the upcoming years, I believe that the job market will be one of the most important, and to sustain jobs and create better jobs would be only possible when the investments are in the right places, and also the investments are very much result orientated. But we also see that, especially for the Lithuanian economy, which is a smaller but very open economy that accumulates more than 80% of the exports of GDP. From the GDP, it's definitely very important to have this connectivity to the export partners and to the other countries. So. When we talk about the priorities of the structural funds and some specificalities, of course, the program are pretty much in line with the European Union. So it's a smart Lithuania, it's a greener Lithuania, it's better connected Lithuania, more social responsible Lithuania, closer to its citizens, and also they have specific areas such as the just transitional funds that are concentrated in 4 regions in Lithuania. It's a very regional, not in the capital city, not in the capital region, but Lithuania for this programming period has been divided into 2 parts, in NUTS 2. It's Central and Western Lithuania and capital. The overall development of the capital region now already exceeds the EU average. It's roughly about 109% of EU average. GDP per capita in purchasing power parity, while Central and Western part stands about 62%. So it's definitely was heavy underinvested previously. So this programming period would definitely cover and will concentrate investments within the other regions rather than and capital regions. And it is also very important for businesses and for clusters, knowing where they are standing. The capital regions will receive investments only to extent it collaborates with the other parts of Lithuania. So if there is collaboration between the capital and the other regions, the investment might be in place. And of course, we'll have an additional RRF funds, which also stands about 2.3 billion in donation in dotation, and also roughly about 3 billion in loans, 3 billion in loans, which is not orientated on specific regions, but orientated on their reforms. And reforms with the priorities are mostly innovation, or is digital advances, and also sustainable and greener business. So when we talk about smart Lithuania, what is important to the clusters, I believe that it's definitely one of the tasks to strengthen research and innovation capacity. And these smart technologies are very much orientated on the acceleration and expansion of the startups and supply of innovation, of industrial transformation, Industry 4.0, and of course are people that are working with their smarter technologies, encourage SME participation and international research and development and innovative activities via the clusters, TVGs, and attraction of foreign direct investments with the smarter technologies and with the smarter jobs. The next one is the next task that is also very important and strengthen the growth and competitiveness of small and medium enterprises, encouraging creation, growth, and development of startups, promote formation and development of the short value chains between SMEs and the regions of the central and western Lithuania, but it also goes international. We all know that in some specific areas, such as biotechnologies and medicine, Europe has a very clear goal to shorten value chains, and we believe that there is a great possibility, the opportunity for the member states to participate in and to dig into shorter value chains with a higher value added than it was previously. And of course, attraction of talent to SMEs, as we see that the competences and the new smarter technologies require more attention to talents via attraction of those from other countries, but also creating the talents within the country, and including requalifications in upskilling and reskilling. Promote of internalization of SMEs and identification of the new export markets, and creating better positions for the existing export markets, creating a better environment for the businesses to supply products or services with higher value added. Promotion of certification and supply of highly value added products and services, and development and expansion of export-oriented SME network integrated in the common value chain. And so there is a lot of connectivity, as you can see, and we believe that for Lithuania it is of the highest importance to ensure that our participation in our business participates in the value chains with the highest value added possible for the moment. And promotion of automation of production processes. Of course, technologies are taking a huge place in the businesses, and also that the industry development in Lithuania is on is kind of a higher side. Industry value added in the industry comprises roughly about 1/5 of all the GDP. So automation and digitalization of industry is definitely brings a lot of opportunities for regions, for businesses, and also for the country. Developing skills. Well, as I already mentioned, we believe that skills will be of the highest priority to ensure that businesses create the higher value added. So it is needed to focus on not only on the jobs in the future, but on the future jobs, and developing the skills that are needed to SMEs to adapt to technological economic changes, and industrial transformation are very important, especially because OECD says that roughly about 2/3 of the jobs in Lithuania are subject to automation in the future, in the longer run, but definitely we need to prepare for that already now. And of course, upskilling the developing skills of employees in SMEs and other entities involved in their search for entrepreneurial opportunities, which also would include creating the environment entrepreneurship from the very beginning, from the school level. And of course, in the clusters. So clusters, it's a very successful and handy tool to achieve those goals connected with a smarter and more sustainable Lithuania. And definitely, it's a part of the overall economic recovery plan. So where we see the clusters for participations, definitely research and development products, including the innovation. So we definitely encourage our partnership, and we believe that the best results could be achieved because of the partnership between the regions, between the member states, and within the whole Europe. Investment in product manufacturing, so it's a promotion of shorter value chains with a higher value added, participation in international value chains, and development of the competences required for industrial automation, digitalization. Those are the main channels that clusters could shine and show their critical roles. So the clusters definitely play a very specific and very critical role in the economic recovery, not only on the national level, but we believe that it is very important for the whole Europe to be on the same page and to ensure that the knowledge is flowing from one region to another. Also, that Europe has very specific and very concrete goals and the new opportunities for the greener and more sustainable business that are digital, that are resilient, and that is relevant to the new customers and new behavior of the final consumers. Clusters are definitely expected to fulfill smart strategy goals, and we are also changing and narrowing our smart specification at the moment, SS3. Which is also also very much concentrated on the digitalization. So it's IT and new products such as blockchains, also artificial intelligence, etc. The more sustainable and greener innovations, and of course the smarter industry. And of course, in the long run, clusters become very important part of the business as facilitators of the actions leading EU member states towards this twin transition, digital and green at the same time. So that's kind of short overview of our plan for the newer and more stronger Lithuania, and we see that the clusters could take a valuable part of the whole plan.
Thank you very much, Ekaterina, for sharing with us your perspective. I need to say that we testify for the strength of your clusters. Okay, they are a critical part of the European Cluster Alliance, and they are extremely active, and you can be proud. And I saw it directly past December because I was invited to the Lithuanian Cluster Conference, and it was a really pleasure to be there and to join your cluster. So we have 5 minutes because I think that you need to leave us at 9.
That's true.
For questions and comments, who wants to be the first? I'm sure that's
Hello, everybody. This is Nina from the Cluster IDEA and also part of the European Clusters Alliance. I was, first of all, thank you very much for the presentation, very insightful into the priorities that you're planning for, especially for the new programming phase from 2021 to 27. And I was wondering for the implementations programs that you named, especially for the western regions, also from Lithuania, can clusters be part of all the programs and have somehow for the new programming period changed their responsibilities or areas of work now? Do they play a greater role than in the past programming periods?
Indeed, thank you very much for very important questions. But we see that it's not only the business that has been on the change at the moment, but also the clusters and the tasks that has been formed for the clusters within the clusters themselves and for the industry. They are kind of a moving target. So I believe that the clusters has a very good part of being very flexible, and the capital region was orientated mostly on the competences and on the skill side. But what we see that the capital region is mostly orientated on the services, while the rest of Lithuania is very much more heavy with the industry. So I believe that there will be a natural switch towards the industrial importance for the next programming period, and that will be a kind of a novelty also to the clusters.
Thank you. I see one question on the chat from Jan Martin. Jan Martin, would you tell us directly? Welcome.
Yes, why not? Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Vice Minister. So interesting to hear. And I had the pleasure to work a long time ago on the National Development Plan of Lithuania. And that makes me pose the question, how do you see the recovery plan exactly in relation to the new structural funds programs? Do you see them as an additional booster, an accelerator, a turbo, or do you see them more as a differentiator? Does it allow you to just push particular parts of the priorities that you have highlighted? Thank you.
I believe, you know, we should talk about all the recovery plans all together as a kind of a puzzle, because previously, well, the programming period has its limitations. It has very specific orientation, but it also shows that in reality, the industry needs to some extent much more flexibility, and this additional money and additional plans and the additional investment that has been entered via the DNA plan creates and blocks those gaps that has been previously becoming more apparent. So I believe that when we talk about the different sources of investments, we definitely need to find it as a whole picture, because well, in the end of this, the end of the story is that we need to move from the current situations to the better upper level, and that's not always possible only with the European program period. There should be much more attention coming from the budget side too.
Thank you very much.
Sorry, I have problem with my
Okay,
mic.
thank you
So,
very much for
thank
being
you.
active.
Thank you
If you have
again.
any further questions, I definitely address them, you know, by email to cover them.
Thank you very much, Ekaterina, and we wish you the most successful development of those plans. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, so now it's time to welcome Jakub Hacek. Sorry for the pronunciation, that I am sure
that's all right.
that it's
Thank you.
horrible. Okay. From
Hello,
Czech
good morning,
Industry.
everyone.
Good morning. We can see you. Should I give
Yeah.
you the presentation rights?
Yes, please.
Okay. So thank you for joining us, and
not this one, sorry, the wrong one. Here we go.
I don't know if Giri would like to introduce you. Giri, are you there?
Yeah, maybe shortly and briefly. So good morning, everyone. My name is Jakub Hacek. I'm from Czech Invest, which is the agency for investments in Czech Republic, part of the Ministry of Industry and Trade. Honestly, when I was asked to make this presentation, I was told it should be a little bit overview what happened here since March 2020. And I think that will be the start for the gentleman coming after me, talking about clusters mainly. So I would like to give you a brief overview what really happened here and how we really reacted in the past months. What are maybe very shortly, what are brief plans for the next months, and then I will just pass the words to Mr. Komarek from Nano Progress, if I may.
Thank you.
Yeah, if I will start from the 12th March, when the state of emergency was declared in Czech Republic, I have to say there was a little bit of unprecedented situation. Nobody really knew what to expect. Nobody knew how to react. There were a little bit difficult situation talking of business, because there were closures of the business. There was a breakage of the chains of the supplies and so on. So simply, first thing what Ministry of Trade made was the free national hotline, because that was the main important information point for everyone who was struggling at that moment. The hotline did cover not only health issues, which was obviously the most important part at that moment, but mainly because it was Ministry of Trade and Industry, it was business info, mobility, how we are able to move through the borders and so on. Here I would say the clusters were definitely one of the relevant part of that, because there was a source of information from abroad as well. During this time, we realized that there is a simple lack of capacities, either on the supply side or even in the workforce, let's say. So what we created here was a portal called GovPoint, where we were able to exchange anything what was either excessive or what was in demand. Again, the clusters were here very helpful because they were trying to reconnect totally broken connections in the supply chains, because there were a lot of potential to produce materials which were absolutely in need, but there was no material, there was no transportation, and so on. So this platform was created quite quickly, within 3 days, and it did really provide the support mainly for the COVID situation. So there was a lot of goods and let's say services offered, and there was also a lot of requested. Because of that, we tried to mediate it. So it was something like a mediated marketplace, I would call. It really helped for the first days, but then we realized there is a lot of work we can do, and it doesn't really come with the money. Yeah? It's like it's no goods, it's no service, it's more like an overall help. So there was another platform started, which is called let's say Connected Czech or Connected Czechia, and that was the platform connecting not only the companies but also volunteers, associations, clusters, and states, and there was like an information portal for everyone pretty much. This worked perfectly, and we believe this will be definitely one of the tools we will like to keep for the future, not only because of the pandemic situation, but for the overall help to increase the potential of our business. Now we are finally coming to the April, which is like not even a month after, where the first support program, in this case national one, because obviously that was the fastest money coming to the economy, was started. So 2nd April, we started a program called Czech Rise Up, which was very fast one. I think the first company received money 30 days after it started, so it was really extremely fast. It was quite a small program for the quick money to solve the situation after the pandemia, and it really sorry, it's here. It really created a certain background for the companies to finish the development and finance the labs and finance also the certification, because that realized as a most important part. The certification of the products was actually one of the main issues, at least in Czech Republic. But as I spoke to the other guys from other countries in Europe, it was similar everywhere. Just talking of what we were actually supporting in the programs, it was not only the face mask, as you could probably expect, but there were really very specific things like the RNA extraction from the blood samples. So we have an automated one now, so we can make, instead of 150, 200 samples a day, we can make thousands of samples a day in one lab or in one material. It's now widely used in Czech Republic, and that's why we were able to increase let's say the testing capacity by 10 times roughly. There was development of the new experimental oxygenator, which was helping the medical ventilators to work more efficient, let's say, and so on. So it was not something small. It was really in a very short time something which was giving a huge advantage. The same time we started hackathon. We called it Hector Crisis, where we were really in a, I think, 3 weeks time getting 206 submitted projects, where we actually supported 108 of them, and we do believe that 24 of them are very, very promising for the close work for the next day, for the next time. Again, part of those companies were actually coming from the nanotechnology things, which is definitely a very strong field in Czech Republic, and part of the nano progress, which you will hear a little bit later on. I just wanted to give you a short idea how fast the situation was that time, because if we had 12th of March a state of emergency, only 2 days later the guys from Czech Technical University came with the idea of printing the 3D masks using the standard 3D printer. Oh, not so standard, but let's say industrial 3D printers, and using the standard P3 filters, which were normally in use by Army. On 20th, so only 6 days later, this was actually tested by notified body in Prague, and it really received the, we call it a short certification. That was the certification on the quick testing. 3 days later, there was an upgrade of these production lines because it was simply not enough. But they've realized that the 3D printing might be not the best idea for large capacities. So there was another idea to bring the inject molding, which is now happening, and they are able to produce 10,000 pieces a day. So the time between this upscale starts from the 14th of March with idea and 23rd of March with the full production of the inject molded materials certified. At least short time certified, because the full certification obviously too, because of the documentation a few months later, but only 3 months later actually they've received a full CE. What I wanted to show here is that we've realized also during this time there is a lot of problems we didn't think of before, and I think these are very important for industry and including the clusters, where we realize that if you make 3D printing, we always speak about distributed production. That's the modern era of the industry. We will have 3D printers everywhere. We will print everything, and it will be perfect. It is, but we need to find out if the legislation is ready for that, because we've realized that if we will print exactly the same mask somewhere else on a different machine from the different producer, obviously it loses its certificate and it cannot be sold or placed on the market. So this is something what the government, and actually I think EU should now really point out, that there is a lack of legislation in modern ways of the production. Now there was another program which was called Innovation into Practice. That was a slight switch from the standard program, and that was supporting roughly about 40 projects only, but it was on the robotization and automatization. Again, all was against the COVID-19. What's probably more important for larger companies is that there was a program which was, I'm sorry, I don't see the full screen, which was started on 4th May, and that was coming from the European structural funds, and that was called COVID-19. And oh, I totally messed my own screen, sorry for that. So in this European structural funds, that was a slight switch again, and it only was able to cover roughly $25 million with supporting of 100 projects. This one is now finished, but there is a plan to bring another structural funds into next year's, obviously together in complementary with the recovery plan, as it was told also in Lithuania. One of the, I think, important parts of Czech Republic industry is definitely nanomaterials or nano industry. And I could talk a lot about nano industry here, but I think the most important thing is just to show some examples. So before the COVID-19, we had in Czech Republic only pretty much 2 companies taking care of, 2 companies really producing something which might be fighting against COVID, but in summer only. So 3 months later, we have a lot more. From the few thousand pieces a month, we really got to the millions. Just roughly for information, I think we were producing roughly about 250,000 pieces of respirators a month in Czech Republic before COVID. Now we are talking of 10 millions a month. So the increase in nanomaterials only is extreme, and we do believe that this is definitely one of the most important parts of the Czech industry for future, and that's why actually you will hear
Sorry, I'm losing the communication. I don't know if it's only me. can somebody verify if they are hearing Hayek?
Hello, Antonio. I just hear you. I've also lost Jakob.
Okay, so Hayek, sorry, but we have lost you. I don't know if you can hear me. Hello? Hello, Hayek?
Hello, Antonio.
Hello?
Uh,
Hello, Giri, are you
Hello, Antonio.
there?
Can you hear me?
Yes, Giri.
Yeah, I am remotely, not in front of my computer.
So we
I'm not
have
sure if
lost.
connection will be fine, but maybe we get connection with. Sorry.
So, yes, Giri, we don't
talk
yet.
to
Giri, there is also
Luboš Komárek from Progress Cluster.
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, Lubos.
Okay.
Welcome.
Welcome everybody, and thank you for the opportunity for presenting here shortly. Thank you, Mr. Hayek, for a very detailed overview of the current situation and actions implemented for the fight of the coronavirus. I think it was a very good presentation, and we are very glad that there was making really high progress in this sense. I will try to start my screen, so hopefully it will work. Can you see it?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, so that's fine. So I would like to inform you about what was done within the cluster community, especially in the fight against coronavirus. Of course,
but Lubos,
yes.
If I may, I would suggest to focus your intervention in the future, okay? Because it's important for us to speak about what can we do now, more than what we have done.
Okay, perfect.
It's the the topic for this morning is this month and the next. We think that we need to look ahead, okay? And there are a lot of challenges, okay, that we have we have now that Europe need to rebuild, okay, and we need to learn and improve and be more resilient, okay. So I would suggest to go for that if you don't mind.
Okay, fine. Well, I was prepared for a bit another topic, but that's completely fine. So, talking to the cluster community, one of the big challenge that we are facing is definitely that many companies implemented many restrictions in terms of employment, and they cut the expenses. So it was said already in the beginning of this meeting that the national programs and regional and national policymakers should focus on this topic. So the economy should be boosted, and the restrictions should somehow have this in mind, because, for instance, in Czech Republic, we had many restrictions that forbid it for small and medium-sized businesses to carry on with their daily works. So, of course, there were some supporting programs for this. The small and medium-sized enterprises got some financial support in this case for the government, but the restrictions must really keep in mind that there can be massive impact on the unemployment rate. So the current measures which should be implemented, of course, need to boost the medium-sized businesses and their innovation ecosystems, and ideally bring new products on the market. Speaking about nanotechnology, of course, this is quite another story, because the sector has really highly protective and solutions and many solutions for the coronavirus. We have, for instance, protective paintings that clean themselves, that kill the bacteria and viruses. We also have protective masks, which are able to capture even the smallest particles. I have some solution here to show you. I'm not going to the whole presentation. I will show directly what I'm talking about. So the big advantage of the nanofiber layer is that it can withstand and it can hold small particles such as viruses or bacteria. So this is one of the solution that the Czech nanotechnology sector is providing. What is basically going on here that all the dust, steam, and viruses go through the first layer, and they are stopped on the second layer. Furthermore, the nanofiber layer is functionalized, and it can clean. It can produce clean environment where the bacteria cannot survive. So what is very important here to keep in mind that the droplet of coronavirus has around the diameter around 0.6 nanometers, 0.6 micrometers, sorry. And not all the protective equipment really works in this area because they are on the market some certifications for 3 nanometers. Of course, they can claim that they can filter 100% of these particles, but the most important particles are of 0.6 nanometers. And I'm really happy to say that the Czech nanotechnology sector and also solutions developed within Nanoprogress cluster has developed equipment that can produce layers that are of this high level of capturing of the particles and protect around 90% against the coronavirus crisis. So the future of the Czech nanotech sector should still continue on focusing on implementing new solution and upscale them. And we should produce this kind of equipment in a massive scale. And definitely we can use a national and European cluster ecosystem for spreading the solutions into other countries. Because at the Czech level, besides Czech Invest, there is a very important player that is representing the Czech nanotechnology sector and Czech cluster ecosystem, and this is National Cluster Association. Of course, we know the representatives, and we are trying to be very active in this role. The association will, in the future, continue to facilitate communication of the main stakeholders of the cluster ecosystem with the policymakers and help to prepare schemes and measures to fight coronavirus and to go forward with the best solutions for this crisis that we have and implement them together with the representatives of the cluster community. So yeah, that's maybe the main from me.
Thank you very much, Lubos, and congratulations for what you are doing.
Thank you very much. We are keen to help with this solution, and our members, just to let you know, they, as Mr. Hayek already told, we have common members which were shown on the presentation, and they were really very active at many levels, and they were fighting coronavirus together with some research centers and created and provided hundreds of thousands of millions of protective masks to local hospitals and social institutes. And I think this is really very nice success story, because they help the elderly to fight the coronaviruses and the medical workers, which is something that should be very well pronounced in many places. And it's really great, let's say, voluntary work for struggle with against the Corona-19.
Congratulations again. So I have a question both for you, Giri and Hayek, if he can hear us and return. Are cluster or participating in some way on the definition of the national recovery plans for Czech Republic? Or are you going to play a role in that national recovery plans? Do you expect that?
Yeah, absolutely, yes. Right now, there is a new governmental, let's say, commission created for the, we call it for the strategy products. And there are people from the clusters in this commission. So we will definitely try to find some symbiotical way simply between the recovery plan and clusters, and not only clusters, to be honest, because it obviously must be the global economy, but clusters are very important from the point of the I would say trans-European connection. So we do believe this will be very important and significant role, yes.
Yeah, for sure. We are not the only actor, but we are convinced that we have a role to play, and that's part of what we are doing here, just sharing examples, sharing ideas, and creating opportunities also. We were speaking, for example, before on how clusters can really help on the upskilling, reskilling area, for example. I suppose that is part of your needs also.
I may add to this. As Mr. Hack said, we are going to work jointly in this sense, and furthermore, we are using a lot the national funding programs also for providing solutions for coronavirus. Especially there is one program for cluster organizations, which is called Collaboration Clusters from Ministry of Industry and Trade. And talking about nanoprogress, for instance, we invested more than 24 million of euros to research and development for our companies, and more than 10 million euros were focusing on solutions that are now relevant to fight against the coronaviruses. And we are not the only cluster organization which is using it. So there are associations in Czech Republic, but the big advantage of the cluster organizations is that we can find quite nice money for our companies and our SMEs and R&D centers to develop solutions against coronavirus. So we are the facilitators, and that's, I think, one of the rule of the cluster organizations at the European level that should be somehow highlighted everywhere. So yeah, so we are trying to find our best also and get the financial support for this fight.
Thank you, Lubos. The mic is open now for question. Sorry, Kiri, where you?
Maybe I add something.
For sure.
I'm not sure if you hear me properly.
Yes,
National
yes,
Cluster Association, Czech Invest. Yeah.
Yes,
National Cluster Association in the Czech Republic, Czech Invest, and the Ministry of Industry and Trade have regularly meetings together to set up better support in fight.
The quality of the sound is not good, Kiri. We cannot hear you.
This coronavirus, as Lubos said, there are some topics. I give you word back, and maybe Lubos will add something.
Sorry, Kiri, because it's very difficult to understand you. I understood that you are actively speaking with your government. Okay, so congratulations for that. Jan-Martin, you have a comment?
Yeah, it's a thought, because it's so impressive to see that nanotechnology as a cross-cutting domain, emerging technique, however we want to call it, seems to have responded so well to the crisis and actually been delving into the medical area where it didn't work before. So it makes me really think, if we're building resilience, whether we should focus much more on these cross-cutting technologies rather than on sectors, because we know that sectors, of course, provide opportunities, but also have been responding very differently. So by focusing on cross-cutting technologies like nanotechnology, we should be able to have more resilience. What would you say about that?
Okay, did I understand the question that we should seek opportunities to get the new solutions in the market, or what was
across sectors? Because if you work across sectors, it seems you have been working applying the nanotechnology in several different sectors, and one of them is medical. And the moment that there is an opportunity through the crisis, by working in several sectors, you can respond to it so quickly as we've seen it, which is very impressive.
Yes, that's absolutely right, because the nanotechnology is a cross-sectoral, a cross-sectoral industry. So this means that, for instance, in the cluster organization, we don't join just a representative of the Czech nanotechnology sector. They are the main, of course, but not the only ones. And we also have a representative of the protection sector, national protection. We have the representative of biotech sector. We have the representative of medical sector and other ones. And when we do solutions, we go there, we ask them what they need. We try to develop solutions with them for the final customer or the final industry. So that's absolutely vital to have the cross-sectoral approach in this sense. Without this, it may not be, the solution won't be on the market at all. So yes, that's it.
I might maybe add one topic that in case of government, the Ministry of Industry and Trade already started to think in this way. So instead of standard sectors NACE-based, because it obviously is not working anymore for our roles, we have in the high value added, let's say, innovative programs we have now, everything split into the let's say key enabling technology. So nanotechnology is one of them, and obviously if you have nanotechnology, it touches everything, industry from the machining and so on, medical things, ecotech, and so there is really, I think this is the only way how to point out the innovative, let's say, products for the future. Yeah,
we totally agree, and in fact there is a phrase from Athanasios Kostandopoulos from Greece, telling that resilience, property of the network, and those elements that link different ecosystems are those that make them more resilient. So congratulations for the approach. I think it's time to close. Thank you very much to everyone for your participation today. We, the European Cluster Alliance, at your disposal for any need, any help that we could provide you in your future programs. Okay, so you are invited to continue that dialogue, not only at national but also international level. I am sharing with you in the screen the agenda for the next sessions. Tomorrow we will have another very cross-sectoral technology that is digital. Digital is everywhere, as you well know. So we are going to speak about the industrial ecosystem digital, and on Friday we will create a common declaration. We will summarize everything that we have been analyzing during this month, and we'll try to agree on a common approach. Okay, so thank you everybody. You are invited to join us tomorrow or any other day. Thank you. See you soon, I hope.
Many thanks.
Thank you everybody, it was a pleasure.
Many thanks. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day.